Hello, good day, my esteemed viewers. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. With Attorney Michael, we have seen a surprise development. Of course, a new groundbreaking by Biafra agitators. Talking about the submission of letter formally to Hague Convention in Netherlands. Of course, I will allow our viewers watch this video how it happened, but ultimately, this will position Biafra as a sovereign nation to legitimately engage with other countries, whether in terms of conflict resolution, whether in terms of maritime engagement. Let us allow our viewers watch this all-important development, which I'll come back to further this conversation. Mr. Chidebaka, have you watched the video yourself? What does it mean for Biafra's struggle and sovereignty?
We know the importance of Hague in the world. This is a nation that houses over 100 powerful international organizations in the world. It is also known as the Dutch Kingdom, one of the ancient kingdoms in the world. And also, they have granted Biafran access to engage and be part of treaties and conventions that took place in if I can remember,
in 1907,
yes, and be part of international engagement and diplomatic, relations. That is one of the main purpose, though it has other areas that we'll also discuss in this interview. But let us look at it from the perspective that the Biafra movement has been granted, or the Biafra nation has been granted, or the Biafran sovereignty have been granted with access to this country that houses over 100 international organizations, including the International Court of Justice. I don't want to start mentioning other organizations that are being housed by the Hague, which is the kingdom of the Netherlands. That is the Dutch, many people call it the Dutch Kingdom, So this is where they are domiciled. This is where those countries are domiciled. And for them to have opened the doors and accept the responsibility of instrument of Biafra being presented and was allowed to have access to over 100 organizations regarding the presence and sovereignty of Biafra. There's a lot of things that will trigger a lot of celebration in that regard. Yes.
Now, some people have argued that the same way every country that is a signatory to this Hague Convention of 1907 have mutual respect for all the member countries that subscribe to this, the same respect will be ascribed to Biafra going forward. Let me get that.
Of course, it means that the Biafra is definitely going to have a very smooth takeoff, a very good, relationship, and it will be a constitutional nation recognized by international organizations. And as one of the most recognized nation for now, most of these things are being talked about, especially our relation with other countries in terms of using airspace, in terms of boundaries, in terms of territorial waters, in terms of access to the sea, in terms of security. So they are officially presented. For a lot of people who does not understand the reason why we have been given access in the Kingdom of Dutch, Biafra has been given access in the Kingdom of Dutch that houses so many organizations, and even our presence in Hague, tells the world that we are going to have a very good relationship with the international law. We are also going to have a good relationship with the international community. We are going to enjoy, we Biafrans are also going to enjoy international support amidst conflict resolutions.
Now, some people have equally argued that with these developments, that it now places Biafra as a sovereign state to become a legal entity before International Court of Justice, saying that they can as well institute actions against any nation on International Criminal Court of Justice.
Of course.
What does this advantage bring to the table?
Of course, that's why I said Biafra is going to have a smooth takeoff. And if in the course of trying to create boundaries, take up airspace, navigate our nautical miles in the sea, in the Pacific, anywhere, and if there's going to be any challenge, we have the standing instrument, the standing, and the power of the instrument to challenge whatever process we feel that are infringing on our territorial integrity in the international criminal court of justice. And it is a big one, and it is a sign too that we are almost getting there in case we are being taken by surprise and Biafra is being recognized as expected.
Let me take you to this angle, because currently the man who went to submit that letter is not too much known in the public space. Does this go to say the reason the people say that Biafra's struggle is bigger than an individual? As I speak, the man Nnamdi Kanu is being incarcerated in Nigeria. The man Samarepa is under incarceration in Finland. Yet another development in this regard. You are going to talk about this, but do not forget that recently we saw another young boy in Israeli Nasset. But first of all, talk to us about this young man who has made this happen.
Okay, let me just tell you that the struggle has become a spirit. It's unstoppable. Biafra has come to be. This is a long walk to freedom. Let me just tell it. And when Nnamdi Kanu was establishing his structure, and like I said it before on one of the videos, it will take anybody 250 years to be able to break the ranks of the IPOB. That means there are so many structures, there are so many organizations, there are so many umbrellas, there are so many institutions, fora, and international bodies that are linked to the Biafra struggle. Every one of them has a role to play, irrespective of where you are. And from what we are hearing, those people you saw that address Biafrans, as a sovereign state, and this is what we have done in Hague in Netherlands, having acknowledged that finally means that people are working in making sure that with or without Nnamdi Kanu, presence, as long as he has, dedicated the instrument of duty to anybody, who feel that he is in advantage to get solidarity for Biafra, or to get people to do one or two things in regards to Biafra struggle. Well, you can go ahead to do it, and you can see legitimately they have been doing it without anybody supervising them. And that is why I told you that the struggle has become a spirit. If you fail to move, something will move you. If you say you are not going, something will go for you. And that is it. And the doors keep on opening for them in all ramification. So if you look at also the young man there that was also present at the Knesset parliament in Israel, that was people have, so there's nobody you can hold actually. Like people will say, if you hold this person, another person will come up. If you hold this one, another person will come up. And they have not seen anything yet, and that is why they cannot actually pinpoint, how these people navigate countries, continents, and begin to do extremely wonderful things, trying to get the world to the Biafran struggle and attention.
Perhaps I should answer this question. Someone once said, like America, like Israel. Another person now said, like Israel, like Biafra. I said it because recently in this conflict in the Middle East, it's very prominent that Biafrans stood firmly with Israel. This tie is unbroken.
Yes, I think anything that is against anybody that is supporting terrorism will not have the Biafra support. The Biafran nation, the Biafran kingdom, a country, and the Biafran people, the indigenous people of Biafra, does not associate with anything that has to do with terrorism. And that is the position of Biafrans all over the world. We will not support anything, and any nation that is rising, to make sure that the world becomes more safer, than what it used to be, without any threat from any radical instrument or whatever you call it. will not have the Biafran support. So we'll support, anything that will take down any form of attack, terrorism to civilization and to humanity. And that's the position of Biafra till tomorrow.
Now, looking at this situation, because certainly we know that back here at home, people will have feeling once this new filters in. What do you think will be the mood in the Biafra region as soon as this new filters in?
It's strategic. What you saw that happened in Netherlands, in Hague, in the Dutch kingdom, is strategic. It is a high-tech diplomatic move, and Biafra have access to 100 organizations now in the world that is under the Hague Convention. That's what it means. And also, they present our instrument of constitutionality on international relations. So that means it's leading towards a smooth takeoff of government of Biafra, with all the diplomatic presence and support involved, international relations intact. So what you see, the rising, the takeoff of Biafra as a nation, I think the speed will be more that of more. Because by the time it's already very clear, and let me tell you why this movement is very significant for a lot of people that does not understand it. We might not be at that level to begin to bring to you, different rights and privileges as a result of what happened in Finland. Under Simon Eber, where Biafra was actually redeclared. Let me just put it that way. Biafra has never died as a country. What they had then was a ceasefire, and with a condition that everything that had led to this war must be looked into and must be seen and to have been done justice to. But unfortunately, Nigerian government have not been able to do that. They have not been able to actually achieve that to an extent. And Philippe Efiong made it very clearly that if you fail to do justice to the children of who are holding the instrument of ceasefire, then you have questions to answer in the future. Today, about 7 countries of the world that have recognized Biafra have not denounced their recognition.
I think that is significant.
Yes, up to this moment, it means that Biafra is still existing, and that is why when you talk about redeclaration, what we are waiting for now is that Biafra is existing, but physically, it might not be a nation, but right there in the consciousness of over 885 million Biafrans all over the world, it is a nation. So what we are waiting for now, and that is why you are seeing this move. They are not going there. What they are going there, engaging this organization, is for a proper smooth takeoff by a means whereby the instrument of access to other international engagement, relations, countries, neighbors, international community, world powers and all that has already been handed over to Biafra at that Dutch instrument of agreement, and access was signed on behalf of Biafra. So at that point now, we will say a lot of people are already jubilating. Maybe a lot of people does not understand what actually that really means. So what we are actually waiting for now is by the time they are done with the certain process that are also going on with different organizations in the world, but what should give you an insight or joy or perception that it is gradually coming very, very close is when you see that this high level of diplomatic engagement with international organizations, in Hague alone, we have over 100. So there's that 100 that have given Biafran an instrument of recognition by allowing them to be constitutionally engaging in international relations, conflict resolutions, boundaries adjustment, airspace, territorial waters, coverage of how many nautical miles, and if there's any conflict that's going to arise as a result of that, Biafra does not need to engage anybody in war. What they need to do now is to invoke the conventions, the Hague conventions that empowers them, which that we have seen now that the instrument has been signed and access given. What it means that they can now go ahead, that area has properly been covered. So at the moment the recognition comes, either by America or by Israel or whatever means they choose to do it, it means that Biafra will have a smooth takeoff as a new nation.
I must say a very big thank you for your time. This is a development story. Certainly, we hope to have you next time on this. But for now,
yes. On a better note, if you allow me to send this message to those who visited the Dutch Kingdom, I say big congratulations to them. A lot of people will not understand the logistics and the diplomatic engagement that opened the Dutch kingdom to Biafra at the end of the day. I want to say it's a happy one, and we're expecting more from this, at least something that will give us something to cheer about. It's a great one, and kudos to Biafrans all over the world who are involved consistently, focused on this struggle to restore Biafra back as a nation. What we need, Biafra is already existing. What we need is just global recognition by world leaders. Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much for your time.